This is Jermaine Jackson with Daybreak Star Radio, and we are at the 82nd Annual NCAI Convention in Seattle, and we are indigenizing the airwaves with native voices across Indian country. So I have a special guest with me. Can you introduce yourself to our listeners? Let them know your name, your tribe, and where you're coming from.
Yeah, Halako Kwe, Huisiye Nolako. My name is Ashley Leitka. I'm an enrolled member of the absentee Shawnee tribe of Oklahoma, also Oglala and Chichangu Lakota, and I am the co-director of the Department of Sovereignty and Self-Determination for Honor the Earth.
Wow, it's a pleasure having you with us. And so what brings you to NCAI this year?
Yeah, so one of the campaigns that we are really focused on at Honor the Earth is to raise awareness and draw attention to the impacts and the harms of generative AI and the hyperscale data centers that come along with them. And what we noticed at NCAI is that there is a lot of promotion going on of generative AI without the consent or the signing on of the body, and without actually relaying and sharing the real impacts of data centers and generative AI on Indian country. And we find that really problematic, so we are trying to come and intervene and stop the normalization.
Wow, that is interesting topic. So what do you think is the most important topic this year at NCAI on the agenda?
Yeah, no, I definitely think it is like the undercurrent of trying to promote and push forward generative AI in our communities without having the actual information about the impacts, without having any proof that it is beneficial to our economies or to our communities, and really without even knowing the risks that it could pose to our lands, to our communities, to our water, and to our futures. And so, I think two of the main, I would say, lies that are being pushed forward are really that, this is going to be an economic bolster for our communities, and that's going to be, a way for us to diversify our communities and our economies. But what we really know about generative AI and these hyperscale data centers is that most of the jobs actually come in the initial construction phase, and that by the end, once it's permanent, that the jobs are very minuscule, and most of them are actually in security. So the lie that they're telling us is that it's going to give us jobs is just not true. And then we also, we have a lot of questions about the actual profits of it. And then I think the other lie that we're really actually very concerned about and that we see happening here in this space is the lie that generative AI and these hyperscale data centers will help us achieve data and digital sovereignty. And we would actually counter that and say it does the exact opposite. It puts our privacy, our security, our data, and our culture at risk by being sold to these multinational corporations that we simply couldn't have any regulatory control over, even if the feds pushed it forward, because they don't exist within the United States necessarily. They exist all over the world. So those are definitely some of our concerns.
Definitely. So what is one of the goals or the things that you want to take away from this week?
Yeah, so I think we definitely want to make a lot of connections here while we're at NCAI, have the opportunity to talk to different tribal leaders and people who are in positions of power to share the information. We know that, a lot of these companies are coming to the tribes, forcing them to sign non-disclosure agreements and not actually sharing the information about the data centers. And so what we've done, we actually created a whole fact sheet that, brings these myths, lays them out, and shares with resources the information and the facts that combat those myths. And we just really want to get these in front of tribal leaders so that they can have this information before rushing into these decisions that don't have any backing, that don't have any evidence, and that are going to harm our land and require a substantial amount of our water. And so that's our main goal, is to really intervene and to definitely continue the conversation and move it forward.
Wow, wonderful. So why do you think indigenous and native media like Daybreak Star Radio is important in today's day and age?
Yeah, so indigenous media is so important. It's so important for us to be able to tell our own stories and to really correct for that erasure and silencing that happens, broadly in American society and especially in our media. And when our communities tell our own stories, they are more accurate, they're more representative, and they include, the points that are important for us and our communities. And so, I really appreciate the opportunity to sit down with y'all and to share this, and to know that it's going to get to the right ears, and that that our communities will be informed.
Yeah, definitely. So finally, what is one message that you want to share with the world?
One message that I want to share with the world is that you can't drink data. That it is so important for us to protect our lands, our waters, our communities, and our futures. That we are future ancestors ourselves, and we have to see ourselves in this generational lens and know that we can't just extract for profit and think about ourselves and think about the bottom line. We have to think about our communities and think about the future, and that's where sovereignty really is, and that's where our power really lies. And so that's one message I want to share. Yeah.
Wow, wonderful. Well, Ashley, it's a pleasure meeting you, and you're doing wonderful work, and we wish you much success in all your future endeavors.
Niawe Wapila.
All right, this is Daybreak Star Radio, the only station indigenizing the airwaves.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah.